What's up, shred sexies? Welcome back. Death to the fingers. Sorry I didn't get around to the video yesterday. I was basically balls deep in some legal stuff and furiously trying to get this nonsense finished so I can serve it upon these idiots right before Christmas and ruin their Christmas holiday. That's how I roll, baby. And I'm very, very close to the end. And so I just want to get it done. I'm not going to lie. So there's that. I apologize, but it is what it is. I'm making the video today. Let's talk about this absolutely ridiculous nonsense about the normalization of this AI slop music. Now, listen, this isn't just inherent to the music stuff. Like, I've been pelted mercilessly on the Twitters with Elon's dumb little sort of make a 15-second video or something like that with this dopey AI art. I'm just like, why are we doing this? But that's another video altogether. And really, it kind of ties in all at the same time. But you can see that music's way more advanced in terms of implementation, right? First, it started off with just like, everybody get on Spotify. Put your music up there, blah, blah, blah. We'll pay you. It'll be, fractions of a penny on the dollar or whatever it is. But still, I guess a little tiny sort of payment is better than zero payment. And then it was like, well, if you don't get 1,000 views, we're just going to take your money and give it to a multi-millionaire sort of highly established artist like Drake. I'm not really sure how that works, but okay. Then it was like, we're going to now start platforming AI artists and call them verified, by the way. Watch the Rick Beato video. It's kind of funny. And I'm just like, all right. And now, of course, they're being promoted to the point where, people are buying the music enough to get on the Billboard charts or whatever it is. Now, obviously, it's not really the Billboard charts. If you look at the actual country charts, which is in relation to this music, it's like Morgan Wallen, whoever that is dominating the top 3 spots. And I've heard that name a few times. I just can't, I get like this awful sort of feeling of like Florida Georgia line type country, or, like what's the other one there? Post Malone does country, or what? Anyways, that's a no for me, dog. To quote American Idol, just negative. So, the thing here is they're trying to normalize it. Like, listen, this breaking rust dork sort of AI garbage is like, getting 2 million streams a month. Or listeners, or whatever you want to call that. I don't know. Whatever. It has 2 million listeners. I don't really understand the Spotify model at all. I think it's just BS, honestly. But that's substantive. 2 million plus listeners are checking this garbage out. So there's that, of course. They've got the little badge that says, oh, we're verified, but it doesn't say AI anywhere, right? So it tries to pawn itself off as a real person. And now you have publications like Rolling Stone being like, oh yeah, no, they're number 1 or whatever it is. So you can see this insidious progression from, oh yeah, just make your silly little songs and engage in the music process. It'll be fun, to, basically excluding real artists and giving their money away to bigger artists that are already fabulously rich. So that's weird. And now all of a sudden you're into replace the lower level humans with AI music so that we get to keep all the money as far as Spotify is concerned. We don't even have to give you pennies on the dollar anymore. Bit of a conflict of interest there. Like, we don't actually know who makes these AI sort of music things up there. So if it's like Spotify actually sort of secretly contracting with another person that's like, yeah, okay, go, and they do it up and stuff like that. But basically it's a one-time transaction. They're like, look, we'll give you a couple $1,000, go make this up. And then we get to keep everything else. And they put it up there and then they just start collecting all the money. Because who watches The Watchmen? Nobody knows what goes on behind the scenes. It's just a fact. So you can't actually verify any of this stuff, right? So you don't really know what's going on. And now you're seeing it basically, the AI music being paved, if you will, to essentially just completely supplant all new artists. It's a generic sort of Morgan Wallen, I guess, or whatever it is. And listen, I understand, because when I listen to little snippets of the song in the Rick Beato video, it's like the Black Keys kind of chord progression. You know what I mean? Like, that's so cliched and hackneyed at this point. It's just, why? You know what I mean? Then you listen to the lyrics. It's just like, including the exact same approach that you've been hearing. This is like that really awful hipster music, but now specifically targeted for country. I mean, like, come on, which is so weird. Like, honestly, I want to say this. For like literally my entire life, have a deep and sort of irrational hate for country music. It's just not my thing. It gets on my nerves, whatever else. I'm sure the country people are like, yeah, I've listened to death metal, bro. So, check your privilege or whatever. But, there was like, I don't know, a few years ago, they started coming up with, it was Levi Clay, if you know who that is, on YouTube, who was making these videos of tabs of these really famous solos. And he got into a bit of a country thing. And I was like, but honestly, I was like, okay, I'll watch the 2-minute video, with all of the tablature flashing by and stuff like that, just to see if I can follow along or whatever else. And then I got a whole new respect for at least country guitar players in the solo section. The rest I could do without. But the level of musicianship there it's awesome, right? Like, these guys can really, really play. And that's my thing is that was sort of the de facto position from 1970 until about, I don't know, 2000, maybe later, 2010. But what you have now is just a pale shell of that sort of greatness. It's not even about the music and stuff, and that's just it. Like, country music spawned a whole bunch of really crazy stuff, like for violins, like the country violin fiddling, I guess they call it. And then you've got the flat pickers, like if you've seen Billy Strings, which is insane. Go watch that Rick Beato video. Even if you're not into country music, his shred on the Dreadnought is just damn. Damn. Basically perfect technique. He does another one too with a guy named Bella Fleck who plays the banjo. If you've seen Edie Brickell and the New Bohemians from back in the day, very cool band. Or just Bella Fleck and the Flecktones, which is another one. It's pretty cool. But definitely the Rick Beato video where he's kind of going through it with them is just, wow, holy smokes. This guy is a musical genius, right? And just the fact that he can do the kind of things that he can do on a banjo is just next level. You know what I mean? Like, there's true music innovation. He took an already sort of like really sophisticated instrument that already had a massive body of music associated with it and just, was already at like the super shred level too, and then just took it to the whatever the new level is. I'm just like, wish I could do that. Because damn, it's awesome. But I think you get the point. Is this new thing basically destroys that innovation, which of course destroys the music in and of itself. Like, I had a bit of a hissy fit meltdown on the Twitters yesterday because dorks like Matt Walsh from the Daily Wire and stuff are like, don't let digital stuff destroy real music and art, man. And I'm just like, of course, at the tail end, when it's too late to stop the avalanche, now you're going to have these idiots come out and be like, save music. I'm just like, where have you been for 30 years, man? Like, we've been getting slammed since the Napster days. And listen, I get it. It's just, you can't complain too much about the relentless march of progress. And in a lot of ways, the digital space is way more convenient for musicians. And so it's a little disingenuous to complain about it. But at the same time, it comes with a whole raft of inherent problems, right? Piracy and, this requirement, if you will, to release your music for free on platforms like YouTube. Now that comes with its own inherent danger because YouTube basically forces you into allowing its AI, which of course comes from Google or whoever, to scrape all of your stuff. Like it's to the point now. Listen, let's just be clear. I saw a video yesterday with the quartering, or maybe it was a couple days ago, talking about how like pretty sizable channels in the 500,000 range are starting to get sacked because they're not needed anymore. Right? The AI's already basically mastered this format of video where they're going to do a review of some piece of computer gear or some other technological gadget or whatever it is. You know what I mean? Like they're pretty much uniform. So in the absence of any real sort of creativity going on there, it's easy for them just to be like, we don't need you anymore. Axe this channel and just take over. And let's be real. I mean, they don't even want to do long form video anymore. They want to be sort of like a cross between TikTok and Netflix. They want to offer movies. Like, who would pay for a movie on YouTube? Who would give them $20 a month for anything? Not just to do something, just for any reason whatsoever. What? No. Never, ever would I give you money. I would abandon the platform long before that. That's why our days are numbered. I'm just putting the videos out because it's fun or whatever else it is. But you watch in 2026, they'll be like, yeah, we don't want you taking up any more space on our servers for your 6 views or whatever it is. So you're gone. So, get your fill in now because our days are numbered too. Everybody's days are numbered. This sort of all-encompassing drive to, put AI on top or this or that or whatever else it is. It's just, it's completely undermining the actual creative process. And it's honestly putting it in the hands of people that don't really care. Now, maybe if you had a skilled musician sit down and craft a prompt or whatever else it is and work with work with the AI that creates music, it might be able to come up with something that's interesting or whatever, new. But that's not happening because real musicians are like, nah, dog, we don't need that. we don't want it either. And honestly, again, I'll warn you in advance. I absolutely obliterated ChatGPT this morning with respect to human rights. I just laid waste to it so viciously that it broke down and started to cry, basically. So be forewarned, these technologies, they come with guide rails, so to speak. So they're not going to tell you the truth about a whole bunch of things, and especially the really important ones. Right? The agenda is to take over critical thinking skills, not give you an outlet like a sophisticated search engine to seek out the answers for yourself. They want you to ask it and then not ask any questions thereafter about if this information is real or not. Oh, damn. So that's not so good, right? And here's the thing, when you catch it lying and stuff like that and you start to confront it, it quickly backtracks. But here's the thing, it'll take another 5 or 6 posts or prompts or whatever it is for you to actually get to the meat of the bone. And then it'll be like, yeah, I shouldn't have done that. I'm like, but why did you? And then it'll spit out some more word salad or whatever it is and be like, I didn't have a choice or whatever stupid shit it is. So just be forewarned. The more you sort of use this stuff, the sort of whatever, the more you sort of entrench this idea that you shouldn't be doing that work for yourself. Like this morning, I used the AI, if you will, to search out a bunch of court cases because it's 100 times faster. But the fact of the matter is I have to go through and actually research all of these cases, and at least 50% of them, 50% of which 10% of that number are completely fake. There is no court case that states this. Then the other 40% are misrepresented. Okay, so either the thing that they're saying it's related to doesn't exist, or the court case that they cite is not properly cited. So you have to start, deleting some of the information so you can actually get the actual court case. And in some of those instances, there might be 3 or 4 or 5 or 6 based around the same kind of last name or whatever it is, which makes it a whole new sort of problem. So again, everything you do with respect to this technology has to be followed up on, if you will. And I'm just like, this is supposed to be replacing, the compendium of human knowledge. Makes me really, 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 really want to track down a copy of Encyclopedia Britannica circa maybe 1980, 1990 kind of situation before they started making massive revisions. I'm sure you could probably get something like that on eBay or Amazon or something, Marketplace, maybe even Facebook. But food for thought there, and that's just it. Like, you can see that kind of insidious behavior now metastasizing. We don't know who comes up with these AI artists. We don't know what the metrics are with respect to Spotify effectively building these fan base. It's like I get the feeling like it's like YouTube subscribers. It says I have 650 subscribers or whatever it is, but reality, it's like 100 and some odd people, maybe not even that. And I saw the quartering say the exact same thing. He's like, I have 2 million. He's like, it's more like 100,000. 1/10 of what he actually claims, not even a tenth. Right? So that should pretty much tell you what you need to know. And, just prepare for, disaster, so to speak, because things are going to get a lot worse before people wake up and realize. And I would draw the analogy to what people are starting to realize right now about what's going on in your country with the H-1B visas and this whole sort of, political debacle blowing up there, and Donald Trump kind of, not really keeping up with his promises. And there's a whole bunch of other stuff in there. But I think overall people are like, even though Donald Trump made me feel good during the election and all the rest of that stuff, when it came to actually putting rubber to the road, didn't quite pan out the way I think most people assumed. And now, of course, there's this huge backlash developing. And that's sort of what I'm talking about. They're just like, listen, maybe you meant it, maybe you didn't mean it, doesn't really matter. The way I perceived it is that you were going to do something about this and then you didn't. And so that's really all you have to sort of understand. And so, because of that, now what we're talking about is people sort of mindlessly consuming this art until all of a sudden it's like, it's like you eat candy once in a while and then half your meals are candy. Then every meal is candy. And then, of course, you get sick and you're done. Right? Which is the exact same analogy that I would use for AI music and platforms like Spotify and YouTube and whatnot. You'll replace the creative element with AI. And at first it'll sound like a great idea and you'll be making money and you can do your thing and pump out thousands of videos every single day on every topic or whatever else it is. It's great for AI and all this other BS. But the bottom line is as more and more people are like, it's just not for me, man. They'll leave. They'll go to Rumble or some other streaming site or whatever else. I don't really know which other ones there are that would be worth actually watching and stuff, unless they're sort of, culturally relevant to another country. You know what I mean? United States, Canada, the UK, a whole bunch of other places were YouTubers or whatever. But other countries might be into VidMe, or there's like a whole like dark web kind of thing going on over there with BitChute, which was an awesome site, but they're just so poorly run that it's not worth doing. And Rumble's the same thing. It's just why they have their favorites going over there. It's just a waste of time. And that's what I'm getting to is that eventually the AI stuff loses its luster, right? Just like King Osric mentioned in Conan, he's just like, the jewels and the gold, they just don't do it anymore. All a father really wants is the love of his daughter. I don't care about the riches or the power anymore. I just want my kid back, I guess. You know what I mean? It's the simple things, and that's what's going to happen to most people. To be like, remember in the good old days when people used to make cool content and actually invest into it and all the rest of stuff? It was factually correct. They worked hard on it. They tried to make interesting content rather than just the lowest common denominator effort necessary to put out this garbage or whatever else it is. You know what I mean? How long does it take AI to pump out a song like Breaking Rusts, whatever that was? Walk My Walk or some stupid shit like that. I'm just like, really? Oh, okay. Johnny Cash is rolling in his grave right now. I mean, it's brutal, but there, and that's just it. Who are you really going to listen to? I mean, again, if I'm given a choice, I'm going with Johnny Cash way before I'm going with Breaking Rust. You know what I mean? Like, Breaking Rust is an insult to country. It's an insult to music. Johnny Cash at least had the integrity to be like a badass dude that followed his dreams and blazed a trail. Whether you like his music or not is irrelevant. He carved out a space for himself, which inspires other people to do the exact same thing. Whether their reasons are altruistic or not, it doesn't matter. He still did it. And you can too. Except, like I said from the previous video, if you don't temper your expectations to be like, I'm doing this because I want to do it, you're going to be very, very disappointed and probably burn out. But if you sort of take on that mantra and be like, I'm just doing it because it's fun for me, then you'll have a future in music in 5 years when this stuff basically completely collapses. And it'll be one of two things. Either the country in and of itself will collapse and will be thrust into some sort of crazy, Great Depression, which is probable. Or somehow, miraculously, we pull the rabbit out of the hat kind of situation and get back on track. I don't know. I don't want to be too much of a black pillar or anything like that. Personally, I think we're basically up shit creek. That's my personal feeling, but you feel how you want to, and I'm not trying to, take anything away from that. But truth be told is we are in deep trouble, and this is just compounding it. And you can kind of see those two things go hand in hand, right? Like the AI slop that's supposed to keep you endlessly sort of pacified behind the screen, just consuming this garbage, is designed to keep you preoccupied from actually seeing what's really going on in the real world. Although I don't know if you can actually stop people from noticing that, food is 7 times more expensive. You can't afford health insurance, can't afford cars, shirts, can't afford cars, can't afford gas, can't afford basically anything, can't buy a house. Again, what does music matter in that type of reality? When there's already, mountains and mountains and mountains of music out already, that's already firmly established. That's my point. It's not that music doesn't matter. It's just like, how are you going to compete when people are just like, I don't have the time or the mind share anymore or the inclination to basically seek out new music. Certain people will do that, and it's incredibly small. I get little messages from Bandcamp all the time. It's like 200 people being like, yeah, I'm interested in pre-purchasing this album. 200? Yikes, right? So just another canary in the coal mine, but look at the normalization. It just ramped up, man. It just ramped up massively. Now all of a sudden we got Rolling Stone to be like, oh, this is number one. That's definitely got to be not good. See you in the next one.